The Carathian delegation sat in rigid formation across the negotiation table, their crystalline exoskeletons reflecting the harsh white lights of the diplomatic chamber. Nancy Chen watched them carefully, her fingers steepled beneath her chin, while Parker Hayes reviewed the holographic data streams floating before his eyes. "You cannot be serious," Ambassador Zekather chittered, his mandibles clicking in what Nancy had learned to recognize as contempt. "Your species wishes to join the Galactic Council, yet you possess no natural armor, no bioelectric capabilities, no enhanced sensory organs. You are fragile." Parker smiled, not looking up from his data. "Fragility is relative, Ambassador." Nancy leaned forward. "We didn't come here to demonstrate our physical prowess. Every species in this galaxy seems obsessed with claws, carapaces, and combat capability. But tell me, Ambassador, when was the last time brute strength solved a truly complex problem?" The Carathian's compound eyes shifted colors, cycling through what Nancy's briefing materials suggested was confusion. "You speak in riddles, human. The galaxy respects power. Your kind has none." "Then let me tell you a story," Nancy said, pulling up a hologram of Earth. 300 years ago, my ancestors faced a global crisis. Climate collapse, resource depletion, and societal breakdown. We had no external saviors, no advanced technology handed down from benevolent aliens. Do you know what we had? Zekather remained silent. Imagination, Parker interjected, finally looking up, and the stubborn refusal to accept that any problem was truly unsolvable. Nancy continued, "We didn't just fix our world, we reimagined it. Every human child learns the fundamentals of systems thinking before they're 10 years old. We teach lateral reasoning, creative problem solving, and adaptive innovation as core survival skills. Because that's what saved us, not stronger muscles, but better minds." Pretty words, Zekather hissed, but the galaxy has seen countless species claim intellectual superiority. The Vex Consortium boasts computational processing speeds 1,000 times that of your biological brains. The Mendari Collective shares thoughts instantaneously across light years. What makes human cognition special? Parker's smile widened. "Ambassador, may I ask, are you familiar with the Kesher paradox?" The chamber fell silent. The Kesher paradox had stumped the galaxy's greatest scientific minds for over 2 centuries. It was a mathematical proof that seemed to demonstrate the impossibility of faster-than-light communication, yet such communication observably existed. Millions of researchers from hundreds of species had tried and failed to resolve it. "Of course," Zekather said cautiously, "it is unsolvable. A fundamental mystery of the universe. It was unsolvable," Nancy corrected, sliding a data chip across the table. "Until last Thursday, the Carathian delegation erupted in clicking, shittering chaos." Zekather snatched up the chip, his bioluminescent patterns flickering wildly. "Impossible. This is a deception. It's peer-reviewed by your own Galactic Science Academy," Parker said calmly. "A 19-year-old human undergraduate named Sarah Mitchell solved it. She approached it not as a mathematical problem, but as a philosophical one. She questioned the fundamental assumptions that every other researcher had taken for granted." Nancy watched Zekather's colors shift through the spectrum: disbelief, anger, and finally, something that might have been fear. "One student," the ambassador whispered, "one human child accomplished what our greatest minds could not." "That's the thing you don't understand about humans," Nancy said softly. "We don't have the fastest processors or the most efficient neural networks, but we have something you can't quantify on a spec sheet. We have creativity born from limitation. For millions of years, we survived not by being the strongest or fastest predators, but by being the ones who could imagine new solutions. We made tools when we had no claws. We built shelters when we had no shells. We created art, music, and stories to bind our communities together when we had no hive mind." Parker added, "Every limitation forced us to think differently, and that cognitive flexibility became embedded in our psychology. We don't just solve problems, we redefine them. We don't accept the rules of the game, we change the game entirely." Zekather was silent for a long moment, his carapace dimming. "I begin to understand why the Council sent us to evaluate you. The galaxy fears not your weapons or your warriors." "No," Nancy agreed. "You fear what we might imagine next. You fear that we'll look at problems you've considered fundamental laws of nature and ask, but what if they're not? You fear that human creativity might destabilize the comfortable assumptions your civilizations are built upon. The ambassador's posture shifted a gesture. Nancy's briefing materials indicated was acknowledgement of a superior position. I must consult with my government. This changes everything. As the Carathian delegation filed out of the chamber, Parker turned to Nancy. Think we scared them enough? Nancy smiled. We didn't scare them with strength, Parker. We terrified them with possibility. And that's so very human. Through the chamber's viewport, Earth hung in the distance, a blue-green marble that had given birth to a species whose greatest weapon was never their capacity for violence, but their infinite capacity to imagine alternatives. The galaxy was about to learn what humans had always known. The most dangerous thing in the universe isn't a weapon that can destroy worlds. It's a mind that can reimagine them. And humanity had 8 billion such minds, each one capable of seeing the universe not as it was, but as it could be. That was what made them truly formidable.